I caught my best friend's fiancé cheating, then I fell for her myself. So this started stupidly. Like, comically stupid. I went over to my best friend Megan's apartment to borrow her blender. That's it. I just moved into my new place, mine was still in a box somewhere, and I had this weird craving for banana smoothies. She wasn't home. She'd texted me earlier that morning saying she was stuck at work late, but she'd said I could let myself in since I still had a spare key from helping her move. I walked in, calling out, "Yo Meg, I'm just here to rob you." Our dumb running joke, and that's when I heard something. Not the TV. Not footsteps. Just, like, muffled voices. One voice was clearly a guy's. The other was, I don't know. Soft. Laughing. A woman, but not Megan. Now at this point, I probably should have just backed out and texted her like, "Hey, someone's in your place?" But I did the dumb movie thing, I froze, and then I tiptoed toward the sound like a Scooby-Doo reject. Her bedroom door was cracked open. What I saw, I'm not gonna describe it in graphic detail, but I'll just say this: Megan's fiancé, Daniel, was shirtless and tangled up with a woman who was definitely not Megan. Definitely not even trying to pretend. I just stood there like an idiot for a second, and then I said out loud, louder than I meant to, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Daniel jumped like he'd been electrocuted. The girl scrambled off the bed and wrapped herself in a blanket, her face going white. Daniel yelled, "Shit. Wait, this isn't not what it looks like." I snapped. Because it looks exactly like you're cheating on Megan, who I'm supposed to be meeting for dinner in 2 hours. The girl bolted past me and out the front door without a word. Daniel stood there, hair a mess, staring at me with this wild, desperate look in his eyes. "You can't tell her," he said, voice shaking. I just laughed. "You're kidding, right?" And then he said something I still can't stop thinking about. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you tell her, it's going to destroy both of you. You don't know what she did. You think I'm the only one with secrets?" That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't told Megan. And I haven't stopped thinking about her. Or him. Or that damn blender. So yeah, after I walked in on Daniel with Mystery Woman on the bed and he dropped that cryptic "you don't know what she did" line, I left. Blenderless. Shaken. Furious. Confused. I got in my car and just sat there in front of her building with my hands on the wheel, not even turning the ignition. My gut said, "Tell Megan. Immediately." My brain said, "Wait. What the hell did he mean by what she did?" I knew Megan. We'd been best friends since sophomore year of college. I helped her through a messy breakup. I was literally the person who introduced her to Daniel. I've seen her cry during Pixar movies and eat pickles out of the jar at 2 a.m. She's not perfect, but she's loyal. She's never even ghosted someone, let alone cheated. Still, I didn't call her that night. We met up for dinner 2 hours later, like we'd planned. I kept telling myself, just wait. Figure it out first. Don't blow up her life over something you're only 95% sure about. But Megan was glowing. Laughing. Giddy about her wedding venue tour that morning. She even showed me swatches of bridesmaid dresses like nothing was wrong. I couldn't do it. Not right there in the middle of an overpriced tapas bar. The next morning, I confronted Daniel. I texted him. "You have 24 hours to tell her. Or I will." He called me immediately. He sounded calmer now, like he'd rehearsed a speech. He said, "She cheated on me first. Last summer. With her coworker. I forgave her. We moved on. You don't know the full story. And if you come in halfway through a movie and start yelling at the screen, you're going to miss the ending." I didn't say anything for a full minute. Then I said, "So this is revenge?" He said, "No. It was a mistake. A stupid, horrible mistake. And now you're going to make it worse." Then he added, with this icy calm, And let's not pretend you don't have your own reasons for wanting to ruin us. That shut me up. Because, here's the part one haven't mentioned yet. I've been in love with Megan for years. Not in a movie way. Not in a I'm gonna confess at her wedding way. Just quiet, persistent, always in the background kind of love. The kind you bury because you think being her best friend is better than not having her at all. So yeah. Now I've got a secret too. And I don't know who I'm protecting anymore. I didn't sleep much after that phone call with Daniel. His words stuck to me like grease. She cheated on me first. You don't know the full story. Let's not pretend you don't have your own reasons. I hate to say it, but the last part hit hardest. Because, yeah. I've spent a long time convincing myself that what I feel for Megan is harmless. That it doesn't change anything. That it's not a factor. But when you see the guy she's about to marry betraying her in her own bed, and your first thought isn't how do I stop this, but I never liked him anyway, yeah. That's not the selfless best friend move. Anyway. I couldn't shake it. I had to know the truth. The co-worker. Megan works at a non-profit, small team, tight group, lots of late-night fundraisers and weekend events. I've met a few of her co-workers over the years. One in particular stood out, Adam. Tall. Outdoorsy. Way too charming. The kind of guy who always remembered my name, even though I only met him twice. One time, when Megan was a few drinks in at a game night, she told me he used to give her complicated feelings. I laughed it off. So did she. She called them work crush hormones or whatever. That was over a year ago. Now Daniel's saying she cheated. Last summer. So I did what any totally rational, definitely not spiraling person would do. I opened Megan's old Instagram posts and started scrolling. The clue. There it was. Late August. A cabin trip. Just a quick non-profit team retreat to the mountains. I remember she invited me originally, but then said it turned into staff only. The photo she posted? A group shot. 6 people. Megan's arm was slung around someone just out of frame. But when I zoomed in, I noticed something, a reflection in a glass window behind her. A partial reflection of her and someone else, his face barely visible. Definitely not Daniel. Definitely Adam. Okay. Not damning, I know. But then I remembered that I had once helped her back up her old phone when she dropped it in a fountain during that same trip. We used my laptop. I never deleted the backup. I dug it out. The proof. There was a video. Buried in a folder labeled Mountain Troplol. It was 11 seconds long. It was Megan, lying on a hammock, laughing. The camera was shaky, like she was filming herself. Then Adam's voice. You look like you're finally relaxing. Then hers, quiet. You make it easy. The camera shifts, and suddenly it's both of them in the frame. Then they kiss. Nothing scandalous. Nothing long. But unmistakable. My stomach dropped. I watched it twice. Then I closed my laptop and just sat there in silence. Daniel hadn't lied. Megan had cheated. And now I was holding a secret that could ruin both of them and maybe us, too. I couldn't sit with it anymore. That video haunted me. Every time Megan texted me, every time she called me bestie or sent a meme about wedding stress, it felt like I was carrying a bomb around in my pocket. And every time Daniel's face popped into my head, shirtless, smug, guilty, I felt like I was becoming part of the lie. So I cracked. But not in the way I planned. We met for lunch last weekend. Just the two of us. One of those trendy cafes where everything is avocado or aioli and you're not allowed to sit longer than an hour. She was late, glowing, and full of nervous excitement about cake tastings and guest list drama. I barely touched my food. At one point, I just blurted out. Hey, can I ask you something? Just kind of serious? She looked up immediately, fork halfway to her mouth. Of course. What's up? I hesitated. Then I said, have you ever cheated on Daniel? The shift in her expression was instant. Like a mask snapping into place. Her smile faded. Her posture stiffened. She looked at me for a long second, too long, and said, why are you asking me that? I shrugged, trying to play it casual, like it wasn't burning a hole in my chest. You know. You guys have been through a lot. And you can tell me anything. I mean, I am your best friend. She laughed, short, fake. Looked down at her hands. Then she said. Once. Just once. Last year. It was a mistake. She didn't say Adam's name. I didn't ask. But I could see it in her face, the guilt, the weight, the way her shoulders dropped like she was expecting me to hate her. I never told anyone, she said. Not even him. I couldn't. I thought I was going to, but then he proposed. And I felt like it would just burn everything down. Then she looked at me, and her voice broke a little. Do you think I'm a terrible person? And here's where I completely screwed up. Because I didn't say. I already know. I didn't say. He cheated too. I didn't say. You both deserve the truth. I just said. No. You're not terrible. Just human. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Held it. Looked at me like I was her anchor in the middle of a storm. And I felt something shift. Something dangerous. Now I've got a secret from her, a secret from him, and a feeling in my chest I'm trying really hard to pretend isn't there. This is getting messier than I ever imagined. And I think it's only going to get worse. After Megan confessed about the affair, everything shifted. She didn't know I already knew. She didn't know I had a video. She didn't know her fiancé was doing the exact same thing literally 2 weeks ago with some girl whose name I never even got. And I didn't tell her. I just nodded, squeezed her hand, and said it was okay. I became her confessional booth. Her moral support. Her non-judgmental rock. And deep down, I think I wanted it that way. I like being the one who knew the truth, the one she turned to. I told myself I was helping her carry the weight. But in reality? I was helping myself get closer. Too close. The night it happened. It was 2 nights ago. She texted me around 10 p.m. Are you up? Can I come over? Just need to get out of the apartment. I told her yes before I even asked why. She showed up wearing this oversized hoodie and no makeup, hair up in that messy bun she always does when she's anxious. She looked wrecked. And beautiful. In that quiet, dangerous kind of way. We sat on the couch. She vented. About Daniel. About the wedding. About how sometimes she wished they'd just eloped before everything got so complicated. Then she said something that made my stomach flip. Do you ever wonder if you made the right choices? Like, with people? Like maybe the person who actually gets you wasn't the one you picked? I froze. My throat went dry. I managed to say. Yeah. All the time. There was a long silence. Then she looked at me and whispered. Sometimes I think things would have been different if we'd met at a different time. And then, she kissed me. Just leaned in, slow, unsure, like she was waiting for me to stop her. But I didn't. I kissed her back. The aftermath. It wasn't long. It didn't go further than that. But when we pulled away, she just sat there with this stunned look on her face. Then she said. I should go. I nodded. Said nothing. She left without another word. Now it's the day after. And I haven't heard from her since. I don't know what that kiss meant to her. I know what it meant to me, everything and nothing at once. Because if she tells Daniel? I'm the villain. If she doesn't, I'm her secret. And if I finally tell her everything I know, I don't think I'll ever see her again. So after the kiss, Megan disappeared. No texts. No calls. No sorry or what does this mean? Not even a meme. It was like someone hit pause on her side of the friendship. Which was kind of poetic, considering I was the one who'd been keeping everything frozen in place to begin with. Meanwhile, I was stuck pacing my apartment and reading way too much into the last thing she said before leaving. I should go. Not I'm sorry. Not that was a mistake. Just, like she was afraid of what came next. And I get it. Because so was I. Then Daniel called. I almost didn't pick up. But curiosity, or guilt, got the better of me. His voice was tense. Controlled. But not angry. Hey. Have you seen Megan? I played dumb. Not in a few days. Why? He let out a bitter laugh. I think she's cheating on me. I sat down so fast I nearly missed the chair. What makes you say that? He said. She came home the other night smelling like cologne. Not mine. She didn't say a word. Just went straight to the shower. And she's been quiet ever since. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Then he said something that made my skin go cold. I know she cheated before. I forgave her. But this? This feels different. Like she wants out. There was a pause. And then. You're her best friend. If you know something, now's the time to tell me. I lied. Again. I don't know anything. And that was the moment I realized this lie? This whole mess? It's not about one kiss anymore. It's not even about what Daniel did, or what Megan did. It's about me. And how I stopped being the person I thought I was. Then came the knock. Later that night, Megan showed up at my door. Eyes puffy. Hair damp from the rain. She looked at me like she didn't know whether to punch me or hug me. She stepped inside. Said one thing. He knows something's up. I didn't tell him. But he knows. Then, almost whispering. I think we have to tell him the truth. I asked. Which truth? And she just looked at me. Not confused. Not surprised. Just scared. So. We told him. Or rather, Megan did. I sat there on her couch, trying not to throw up, while she sat across from Daniel, hands in her lap, and finally said the words. I kissed someone else. The moment was so quiet it felt like the room had been sucked into a vacuum. Daniel just stared at her. No shouting. No questions. Just the still, awful silence. Then he looked at me. And something in his face changed. Like he already knew. He put it together instantly. It was you, wasn't it? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He stood up so fast the coffee table wobbled. Walked to the window like he needed a minute, hands on his hips, breathing hard. Then he laughed this short, bitter sound that didn't belong to him. You've always been in love with her. Megan looked at me. I looked at the floor. And then Daniel turned around and said. Were you ever going to tell me what you saw? The blood drained from my face. You knew? Megan asked. Saw what? Daniel looked right at me. You didn't just walk in on us kissing. You walked in on me and... He paused, gave Megan a long, deliberate look. Someone else. A few weeks ago. Right? I nodded. Slowly. Megan gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth. Daniel shrugged. I was wrong, Meg. I thought we were even. But we're not. Because I didn't love the person I kissed. Then he looked at me. And he does. The fallout. Megan ended it that night. The engagement was called off. The save-the-dates had already gone out. Her mom had already put down a deposit on the venue. I don't even want to think about how many phone calls she had to make the next day. She stayed with me that night. But not like that. We just sat in my living room. In silence. Two ruined people, pretending we hadn't set the fire ourselves. The worst part? Daniel told people. Not everything, but enough. Now the group chat is dead. Our mutual friends avoid me. One even DM'd me. So messed up, man. You don't steal your best friend's girl. I didn't steal her. But I didn't stop it, either. I didn't tell her the truth when I had the chance. I let her kiss me. I let the lie grow teeth. And now I'm alone in it. Worse, she's alone in it. 2 weeks. That's how long it's been since everything blew up. Since the engagement imploded. Since our little circle turned cold. I haven't seen Daniel since the night he found out. I don't expect I ever will. Megan stayed with me for 3 days after that night. Not as a couple. Not really even as friends. Just two people floating in the same wreckage, neither one ready to admit how deep the water was. On the 4th morning, she packed a bag and said she was going to stay with her sister for a while. I just need space, she said softly, not meeting my eyes. I don't know what I want anymore. I don't even know who I am right now. I nodded. Tried to smile. Said. Take all the time you need. She kissed my cheek, grabbed her keys, and left. That should have been the end. I told myself, this is what I deserve. I helped cause the crash. Now I get to sit in the twisted metal. No big declarations. No slow-motion reunion. No fairy tale ending. For a while, I went numb. Work, sleep, repeat. I didn't post. I didn't text. I didn't open the group chat that no one used anymore. I deleted the video of her and Adam. I erased Daniel's number. I left the blender on the counter and never used it once. Then yesterday happened. I got home from work. There was an envelope wedged under my door. No return address. Just my name in her handwriting. Inside was a photo. Me and Megan, from about 4 years ago. Sitting on the curb outside a concert, legs crossed, sharing a bag of fries. Both of us laughing like idiots. I didn't even know anyone had taken it. On the back, she'd written. This was the first night I thought, maybe. I'm not ready yet. But when I am. If you still feel the same way. I hope we find our way back. No signature. Just that. So here I am. I'm not posting this for karma or closure. I just needed to tell someone. Not everyone gets a clean ending. Some of us just get a chance. And sometimes, that's enough. So yeah. I caught my best friend's fiancé cheating. Then I found out she cheated too. Then we kissed, blew up a wedding, burned a few bridges, and now? Now I'm sitting here staring at an old photo and wondering if love isn't always about timing, but about forgiveness. For others. And for yourself. Would you wait for someone who walked away to find herself? Because for the first time in a long time, I think I would.